The crystalline spires of the Galactic Council's central chamber stretched toward the artificial stars that dotted its cathedral-like ceiling. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of the vast circular platform, her voice steady despite the weight of 20 billion human lives resting on her shoulders. 12 distinct species of the Council watched from their elevated positions, their expressions unreadable to human eyes. Humanity comes before you not as supplicants, but as equals seeking collaboration, Sarah declared, her diplomatic implant translating her words into 12 different languages simultaneously. In 3 centuries, we have progressed from primitive combustion engines to quantum drive technology. Our adaptability is not a threat, but an asset to galactic civilization. High Counselors Expelled, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns, leaned forward. Precisely our concern, Ambassador. Your species achieved in 3 centuries what took others millennia. The statistical models predict severe market disruptions if humanity continues its current trajectory. Sarah gestured to the holographic display showing Earth's technological growth curve. With respect, High Counselor, your models assume linear progression. Humanity's strength lies in exponential learning through collaboration. We've already established successful trade partnerships with the Maraxians and unauthorized partnerships, interrupted Counselor Van Ra, their feathered crest rippling with agitation. The proper channels for technological exchange were bypassed. The chamber's atmospheric processors hummed as Sarah pulled up another hologram, this one showing successful joint ventures between human and alien enterprises. These partnerships arose naturally through mutual need and benefit. The Maraxians needed our innovative approach to atmospheric processing, while we benefited from their advanced material science. The council members shifted in their seats, neural interfaces flickering as they exchanged private communications. Sarah recognized the signs from her diplomatic training. They had already reached their decision before this hearing began. High Counselor Zextel's voice resonated through the chamber. Humanity's potential for disruption cannot be ignored. Your species possesses an unpredictable combination of technological acceleration and biological drive for expansion. The Council's primary directive is to maintain galactic stability. Stability need not mean stagnation. Sarah countered, her heart racing despite her calm exterior. Together, we cooled. The Council has reached its decision, Zextal announced. For the preservation of galactic order, humanity will be restricted to the outer spiral arms, beyond the primary trade routes and resource-rich sectors. You have 1 standard year to complete the relocation. Sarah's diplomatic training warred with her instinct to protest. You're sentencing billions to exile based on theoretical models and fear of change. We are ensuring the continued stability of trillions of lives across thousands of species, Van Ra responded. The outer territories offer sufficient resources for survival if your species is truly as adaptable as you claim. Sarah straightened her spine, letting her gaze meet each council member in turn. Then you leave us no choice but to prove exactly how adaptable we are. Humanity will not merely survive in exile. We will thrive. And when we do, remember that you chose to make us outsiders instead of allies. The council session ended with the sound of crystal chimes, but Sarah's words hung in the air like a prophecy. As she left the chamber, her mind was already racing with plans. The council thought they were containing a threat, but they had just challenged humanity to do what they did best: adapt, innovate, and overcome. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood in the massive hangar of the Luna shipyards, watching teams of engineers swarm over the hull of the cargo hauler Starseeker. 3 months had passed since the Council's exile decree, and humanity's response had been anything but defeat. The cavernous space echoed with the sounds of construction as they transformed another merchant vessel into a generation ship. The hydroponics integration is complete on levels 3 through 7, her assistant's hologram reported, floating beside her. But we're still struggling with the radiation shielding for the agricultural sections. Maya pulled up the schematics with a gesture, her neural interface highlighting the problem areas. What if we repurpose the cargo hold's magnetic containment systems? We can modify them to create a magnetosphere effect. That's not in any of the standard protocols, the assistant noted. Standard protocols were written for standard situations, Maya replied, already sending the calculations to the engineering team. We're long past those now. Above them, robotic assemblers wove new layers of smart metal into the ship's hull, guided by AI systems that had been working non-stop since the Exile announcement. The Star Seeker was just one of 300 ships being converted across Earth's orbital facilities. Her comlink chimed with an incoming call from Captain Sarah Chen, recently reassigned from her diplomatic post, to lead the first wave of Exodus ships. Doctor, we've received an interesting package from our friends in the Meraxian Trade Guild. Apparently, they'd misplaced some technical data about long-term life support systems. Maya smiled. Not all alien species agreed with the Council's decision. I'll have my team analyze it immediately. Any other fortunate accidents we should know about? The Rigelian Science Academy sent us a study on cosmic radiation patterns in the outer arms. Purely academic, of course. Sarah's voice carried a hint of satisfaction. How are we doing on the conversion timeline? Maya watched as another section of hull plating shifted and reformed under the assembler's guidance. We're ahead of schedule on this one. The neural-linked fabrication systems are worth their weight in antimatter. Speaking of which, the new fusion containment system is performing 30% above specifications. The Council thought they were containing us, Sarah mused. Instead, they gave us a deadline and a challenge. Humans work best under pressure, Maya agreed, reviewing the latest progress reports streaming through her neural interface. The seed bank installation is complete. We've got quantum computers being integrated into the environmental systems, and the medical bays are better equipped than most planetary hospitals. A soft chime indicated another milestone reached. The Star Seeker's main AI core had finished its integration with the new systems. Soon, it would join 5 other completed ships in high orbit, ready to carry 10,000 colonists each to the stars. Maya turned to face the next cargo hauler being moved into position by the orbital tugs. We're not just surviving this exodus. We're taking everything we've learned, everything we've built, and we're using it to make something better. The Council gave us 1 year to leave. Let's show them what humanity can do with that time. The hangar's massive space doors began to open, revealing Earth shining below, and the star-filled darkness that waited beyond. It wasn't the future they had planned for, but Maya knew that adapting to the unexpected was humanity's greatest strength. They would turn exile into opportunity, one ship at a time. Commander Jack Torres peered through the reinforced observation dome of New Haven settlement, watching the aurora-like streams of radiation paint the sky in brilliant colors. The gas giant Epsilon Serpentis IV loomed above, its massive form filling nearly a quarter of the visible sky. 5 years into their exile, humanity had learned to turn such hostile environments into advantages. Mining Platform 7 reports another successful harvest. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, reported. The radiation storms are actually helping us extract rare isotopes from the upper atmosphere. Something about the particle acceleration effect. Jack nodded, watching a group of maintenance drones navigate through the colorful atmospheric display. Send my compliments to Dr. Rodriguez. Her atmospheric surfing protocols are paying off better than expected. The settlement's main control room hummed with activity as operators monitored the complex systems, keeping 50,000 people alive in what should have been an uninhabitable zone. Screens displayed data from the massive energy collectors that rode the gas giant's powerful magnetic fields, gathering power that would have overwhelmed traditional collection methods. Sir, we have an incoming ship, Yuki announced, bringing up the sensor display. Not one of ours. Signatures match. Skrith design. The crystalline entities. Jack raised an eyebrow. The Skrith were known for their advanced technology, but rarely ventured beyond Council space. Open a channel. The alien vessel's captain appeared on the main screen, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. New Haven Control. This is Research Vessel Light Seeker. We request permission to observe your atmospheric mining operations. Our traditional methods prove ineffective in such conditions. Jack exchanged looks with Yuki. This wasn't the first time their unorthodox solutions had drawn attention. Permission granted, Light Seeker. Welcome to the frontier. Later, walking through the settlement's agricultural dome, Jack watched colonists tend to crops growing in spiraling vertical farms. The plants were new hybrids, developed to thrive in the higher radiation and artificial gravity. Through the dome's transparent sections, he could see the gas giants' swirling storms providing a constant light show. The Skirith are settling into the observation post, Yuki reported, falling into step beside him. Their chief scientist seems particularly interested in our radiation-riding harvesters, called them elegantly primitive. I think it was meant as a compliment. Primitive or not, they work, Jack replied, stopping to check a readout on one of the hydroponic systems. That's something we learned quickly out here. Perfect solutions matter less than effective ones. A group of children ran past, their laughter echoing off the dome's curved walls. They were part of the first generation born in exile, and to them, this impossible place was simply home. They pointed excitedly at the Skirith ship visible through the dome, its crystalline structure catching and amplifying the aurora's colors. Council space may have more resources, Jack mused, watching the children, but out here, we've got something better. Freedom to innovate. Every problem we solve our way proves them wrong about humanity. The settlement's warning system chimed softly, announcing another radiation storm approaching. But instead of seeking shelter, the colonists simply adjusted their schedules, ready to harvest the storm's energy. In their exile, they had learned to dance with danger rather than hide from it. And that dance was drawing an audience they had never expected. Captain Lin Wei guided her ship, the Stellar Pioneer, through the swirling azure clouds of the Maelstrom Nebula. According to Council navigation charts, this region was marked as hazardous, no safe passage. Yet her vessel's quantum sensors, developed in the harsh conditions of exile, cut through the electromagnetic interference like a knife through silk. Another successful run, she announced to her mixed-species crew. Her first officer, a Maraxian named Kex, clicked his mandibles in approval. 10 years of exile had led to partnerships the Council never anticipated. Trade manifest is updated, Captain, Kex reported, his compound eyes reflecting the nebula's glow. The Rigelian colonies are particularly interested in our radiation-hardened agricultural drones, and the Skirith research outpost has doubled their usual order for atmospheric processing units. Lin smiled, remembering how those units had been born from necessity. When traditional filters failed in the gas giant storms of New Haven, human engineers had created systems that could function in conditions that would destroy standard Council technology. Incoming transmission, the communications officer announced. It's from the Andromeda Research Station. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Dr. Maya Rodriguez, now head of the Frontier's largest scientific complex. A decade had added silver to her hair, but none of their exile had diminished her energy. Lin, your timing is perfect. Maya's hologram gestured excitedly. We've just finished testing the new quantum tunnel drive. It can navigate through regions the Council considers impassable. Want to be the first commercial vessel to try it. Always leading us into the impossible, Maya, Lin chuckled. Send over the specifications. Kex, alert engineering to prepare for an upgrade when we dock. The Stellar Pioneer emerged from the nebula, its hull gleaming with adaptive smart metal that shifted to deflect stellar radiation. Ahead lay the sprawling complex of Andromeda Station, built from recycled generation ships and expanded with modules that could withstand the intense energy storms common to the frontier. As they approached the station, Lin observed the diverse collection of vessels in the docking rings. Council species seeking solutions to problems their traditional technology couldn't solve. Independent traders drawn by the unique opportunities of the frontier. Even a few diplomatic ships quietly gathering information about humanity's unexpected success. Docking control confirms our berth, Kex announced. They've assigned us to Ring 7, near the New Scrith research facility. Lynn watched through the viewport as robotic arms guided their ship into position. Remember when they thought exile would limit our influence? Now we're building things they never imagined possible. The station's massive form filled their view, its adaptive architecture a testament to human ingenuity. In 10 years, they had transformed the frontier from a punishment into a crucible of innovation. Every challenge had forged new solutions, and those solutions were changing the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. Captain, Kex's voice held a note of amusement. The station's trade board shows 17 new requests for our technology. Shall I tell them we're advancing too quickly for their comfort? Lynn laughed, a sound echoed by her bridge crew. No need, Kex. Our success speaks louder than any words. The Council wanted to contain us, but they only taught us how to become indispensable instead. High Counselor Zextal's crystalline form pulsed with agitation as emergency reports flooded the Council chamber's holographic displays. The stellar anomaly had appeared without warning, a massive distortion in spacetime that was rendering traditional faster-than-light travel increasingly unstable across Council space. Another transport fleet lost contact in the Carina sector. Counselor Van Ray announced, their feathers rippling with distress. That makes 37 ships missing in the last solar week. The primary trade routes are becoming impossible to navigate. The Council's most advanced predictive systems had failed to forecast this crisis. Their carefully regulated galaxy was falling into chaos as supply lines broke down and colonies faced isolation. Yet reports indicated that ships from the human frontier territories were still operating safely through the affected regions. In the frontier settlement of New Haven, Dr. Maya Rodriguez studied the latest data streams with intense focus. The quantum processing arrays, built to handle the complex calculations needed for survival in exile, had identified patterns in the anomaly that Council systems missed. It's not just a spatial distortion, she explained to the assembled team of human and alien scientists. The anomaly is creating cascading failures in standard navigation systems because it operates on multiple dimensional layers. But our quantum tunnel drives, designed to handle the chaos of the Maelstrom Nebula, can adapt to these fluctuations. Captain Lin Wei's voice came through the quantum comm system, her ship successfully navigating through another affected sector. The adaptive shielding is holding. We've already rescued 3 stranded Council vessels. Their captains were quite surprised to see primitive human technology coming to their aid. Maya allowed herself a small smile. The Council built their systems on the assumption that space-time follows predictable rules. We built ours knowing that the universe is far more chaotic than they wanted to admit. The holographic display showed the growing spread of the anomaly. Council space was fragmenting into isolated pockets as their transportation networks failed. Yet the frontier settlements, accustomed to working with unstable conditions, maintained their connections through technologies born of necessity. We're receiving a priority transmission, her assistant announced, from the Council chamber itself. The image of High Counselor Zextal appeared, their crystalline form subdued. Dr. Rodriguez, the Council requests your assistance in this crisis. Your frontier technologies appear uniquely suited to these unprecedented conditions. Maya thought of the exile decree from years ago, of the dismissal of human adaptability as a threat to stability. Now that very adaptability might be the key to saving the Council's carefully ordered society. But she also knew this was an opportunity for more than just rescue. We will help, she replied, choosing her words carefully, but not as subjects receiving permission to assist. We offer our aid as equals, with full recognition of the frontier's autonomous status. A moment of silence filled the quantum connection before Zextal responded. The Council will consider your terms, but please, time is of essence. Of course, Maya agreed. We're already mobilizing our ships for rescue operations. After all, adapting to impossible situations is what we do best. The quantum displays showed hundreds of frontier vessels preparing to launch, their hulls gleaming with smart metal and their drives humming with innovations that the Council had never imagined possible. The crisis that threatened to shatter the old order had become humanity's chance to forge a new one. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood once again in the council chamber, but this time the atmosphere was drastically different. The artificial stars above flickered intermittently, affected by the same anomaly that was disrupting travel across council space. Around her, emergency holographic displays showed the growing crisis in real time. "Our quantum tunnel drive technology can be adapted to your existing ships," Sarah explained, her voice carrying the weight of experience. "But integration requires more than just technical modifications. Your crews will need training in adaptive navigation techniques that we've developed in the frontier." High Counselor Zextel's crystalline form shifted in subtle patterns that Sarah had learned to recognize as intense interest. "You propose a joint operation. Council ships with human assistance." "Better," Sarah replied, bringing up a holographic model of an integrated fleet. "We propose true collaboration. Your ships have superior manufacturing capabilities. Our adaptive systems can enhance them. Together, we can create a hybrid fleet capable of maintaining stability across all sectors." The council chamber erupted in overlapping discussions. Councillor Vanra's feathers rippled with agitation. "The regulatory implications alone are less concerning than total economic collapse," interrupted a new voice. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stepped forward, her presence a testament to how much had changed. Once, a scientist would never have been allowed to address the council directly. Maya gestured, and the holographic display transformed to show the successful rescue operations already underway. Human ships, their hulls gleaming with smart metal, guided stranded council vessels through the anomaly's distortions. "Your systems were built for a predictable universe," Maya continued. "Ours were forged in chaos. We learned to bend rather than break, to adapt rather than resist. This crisis isn't just a threat. It's an opportunity to evolve." The chamber's quantum sensors registered another wave of distortions rippling through nearby space. More emergency signals flashed across the displays as additional ships became stranded. "Time grows short," Sarah noted, her voice calm but firm. "We've prepared a comprehensive proposal for cooperation, equal status for frontier settlements, open exchange of technology and expertise, joint research initiatives, a new council that embraces innovation alongside stability." Zextel's form pulsed with complex patterns as they consulted with other council members through their neural interfaces. Finally, they spoke. "Your exile was meant to protect galactic stability. Instead, it created exactly what we needed: a civilization capable of thriving in instability." "The universe has a sense of irony," Sarah smiled. "But now we can move forward together. Our differences become our strengths." The council's vote was unprecedented in its speed and unanimity. As emergency protocols were suspended and cooperation agreements were rapidly drafted, Sarah watched Maya coordinating with council scientists, their shared excitement transcending species boundaries. "Implementation teams are ready," Maya reported, her eyes bright with possibility. "We can begin fleet modifications within the hour." Sarah nodded, thinking of the long journey from exile to this moment. The council tried to contain humanity's influence, she mused. Instead, they gave us the space to become exactly what the galaxy needed. Outside the chamber, human and council ships began their first official joint operation, their combined technologies lighting up the stars with promise of a new era. Captain Lin Wei stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned hybrid vessel Unity, a seamless blend of council precision and human adaptability. The ship's quantum core hummed with power as it prepared for its first official mission through the anomaly-affected zones. Integration of human adaptive systems at 98%, reported her Skrith engineering chief, Crystal Song in darkness, their crystalline form reflecting the holographic displays surrounding them. "The Council's matter conversion technology works perfectly with our quantum tunnel drive." Lin watched as the final calibrations completed. The Unity represented something unprecedented, a true fusion of Council and human engineering philosophy. Its hull incorporated both the Council's advanced materials and human smart metal technology, while its navigation systems combined their vast star charts with frontier adaptive algorithms. Launch sequence initiated, announced Kex from his position as first officer. The Maraxian had followed Lin from their frontier trading days, bringing his expertise in both council and human protocols. The Unity glided out of the massive construction dock, its hybrid systems allowing it to navigate the spatial distortions that still plagued traditional vessels. Around them, a fleet of similarly modified ships prepared to restore the broken supply lines across council space. Dr. Maya Rodriguez's voice came through the quantum comm, clear despite the interference that disrupted standard communications. Looking good, Lin. The adaptive field is maintaining stability even better than our simulations predicted. The Council engineers are already talking about implementing these modifications across their entire fleet. The mission ahead was challenging but straightforward. Lead a convoy of emergency supplies through the worst affected sectors, demonstrating the effectiveness of their combined technologies. But Lin knew they were proving something far more important than technical capabilities. Multiple distortion waves detected ahead, Crystal Song reported. Traditional routes would be completely impassable. Show them what we can do together, Lin ordered. The Unity responded instantly, its hybrid systems working in perfect harmony. The ship's smart metal hull rippled as it adapted to the spatial fluctuations, while Council-designed quantum shields maintained a bubble of stable space around them. They emerged from the distortion field to find a stranded Council research station, its conventional systems overwhelmed by the anomaly. The station's personnel watched in amazement as the Unity deployed its advanced docking systems, establishing a stable connection despite the chaotic spacetime conditions. Rescue operations commencing, Kex announced proudly. The station's chief administrator is requesting a full briefing on our hybrid technology. Lin smiled, remembering the early days of exile, when such cooperation would have seemed impossible. Tell them we'll be happy to share everything. That's the whole point of this mission, after all. As the Unity coordinated the rescue effort, more hybrid ships arrived, their crews representing the best of both worlds. Council precision guided by human intuition, traditional power enhanced by frontier innovation. Message from Council Command, Crystal Song announced. They're formally requesting that we establish a permanent joint training program. They want all future ships to carry both Council and human crew members. Send them our complete approval, Lin replied, watching her diverse crew work seamlessly together. The anomaly that had threatened to tear the galaxy apart had instead forced it to grow beyond old limitations, proving that the greatest achievements came not from separation, but from synthesis. 20 years after the exile decree, the Council chamber had transformed. Where once 12 species made decisions in isolation, now representatives from across the galaxy gathered in a space redesigned to welcome all voices. Ambassador Sarah Chen watched from her new permanent seat as ships from every corner of space docked at the expanded station. The Frontier Development Initiative has exceeded all projections, Maya Rodriguez reported to the assembled representatives. Her hologram stood beside Sarah, transmitted in perfect clarity through the quantum network that now connected former exile zones with Council space. The combination of Council resources and human adaptation strategies has opened up regions previously thought uninhabitable. High Councilors Expelled, their crystalline form now adorned with the distinctive smart metal additions that had become popular among their species, nodded in approval. The New Haven protocols have been successfully implemented across 17 previously unstable sectors. The main display showed the Unity and its sister ships, now part of a vast fleet that maintained peace and prosperity across both Council and frontier space. Captain Linway's latest report scrolled across the screen, detailing the successful establishment of another joint colony in what had once been considered dead space. Our greatest achievement, Sarah noted, isn't the technology we've developed or the space we've claimed. It's the bridges we've built between different ways of thinking. The chamber's adaptive architecture, a perfect blend of Council precision and human creativity, shifted to display a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Regions once marked as forbidden now pulsed with activity, while the former borders between Council and Exile space had faded into history. The Academy of Unified Sciences reports another breakthrough, announced Crystal Song in Darkness, now serving as Chief of Technological Integration. The quantum anomaly that forced our cooperation has been fully mapped. Its effects can now be predicted and even harnessed for advanced propulsion. Sarah exchanged glances with Maya. The crisis that had brought them back from exile had become the foundation of their greatest discoveries. Council ships now routinely employ human adaptive systems, while frontier settlements benefited from Council infrastructure and resources. "We have a request from the nursery worlds," Van Ray announced, their feathers now styled in the distinctive patterns of frontier fashion. They wish to implement the combined education program that has proven so successful in human settlements. Their youth are particularly interested in the adaptive engineering courses. The chamber filled with approving murmurs. The next generation was growing up without the artificial boundaries that had once divided their civilizations. In schools across the galaxy, young minds learned to combine the best of all traditions. 20 years ago in this chamber, Sarah addressed the assembly. We were told that humanity's adaptability was a threat to stability. Today, we understand that true stability comes not from resistance to change, but from the ability to evolve together. She gestured to the graduation ceremony being broadcast from the Andromeda Academy, where students of all species celebrated their achievement together. The Council sought to contain humanity's influence. Instead, they catalyzed a transformation that benefited us all. Outside the chamber windows, the stars shone on a galaxy forever change. Ships of hybrid design cruised past, their crews as diverse as their technology. The exile meant to diminish humanity had instead sparked an unprecedented era of growth, proving that the greatest achievements come not from separation, but from the courage to reach across the divide and build something new together.